into the club, 'cause you're that kind of nerd.
Hello, and welcome to the club. This is That Kind of Nerd, a show where we talk about the nerdy things we're passionate about and judge each other on what we bring to the table. I'm your host this week, Josh Burns, and I'm joined by Brian Thornton and CJ Mellon.
Hello, I am not experiencing tech issues right now.
I don't understand because the handoff works just fine.
Brian is trying to solve an iPhone/Mac handoff issue. Since relaunching the best nerdy podcast on planet Earth, we have a new show format. At the end and throughout, sometimes every topic, I'll be judging the conversation and awarding points to my co-hosts. The winner at the end of the show will be the host next week, and I know that because I won on the last show.
What?
And so I'm hosting right now. So let's get started. I know that CJ has a topic for us. I have a short one, and Brian, what do you got?
Do you want to know in particular what I have, or do you?
Oh yeah, I want to know.
Start
I want to
with
know. Give me like the ballpark of what your topic's about.
I
know
list.
what CJ's is. You have a list.
I have a list.
CJ has a list. There's lists. Lists. I love lists. Brian, let's go with your list.
I'm gonna go with my list. All right, I will drop the list into the chat for your approval, Joshua. But I think we can all agree. Last week we all watched one of the best series finales ever.
Ever.
And I know, and we're talking about Ted Lasso, just to inform the group. And I know we've talked about the worst series finales, but I found a list of the 20 best TV series finales of all time. This came out before Ted Lasso premiered. Otherwise, I believe Ted Lasso would be on here. So I want, the way we do every list, Josh, you judge accordingly. What would you remove? What would you add? I'm sure we haven't seen everything that's on here. But I am interested in your thoughts, gentlemen, on the listing of this list. This is by Jen Lennon. This is a list on AV Club by Jen Lennon, Saloni Gajar, Tim Lowry, Sam Barsanti, Matt Matt, and Cindy White.
I liked that it was a collaboration. First, I like that.
Yeah.
Immediately, I liked that it's a collaboration. And I'll tell you this. You put the link in the chat, and my first thought was, if I fucking click this and Cheers isn't on this list, I'm gonna Yamo burn this place to the ground.
Cheers is the first one on the list.
The AV Club, that's a reputable website, probably has a good list. Probably has someone in charge going, hey, I don't think you can put that on there.
There's an editor who said, nah, maybe not. But Cheers
probably
is the
the
first
same
one
thing
on this
Josh
list.
just said. If y'all don't put Cheers on this thing, I'm gonna fire you all. Like, we'll put it on the last spot.
Yeah,
right? we'll put it on, but
number
it'll be the
20.
last
Number
spot.
20.
Number 20.
I think it's probably the first series finale I ever watched. So
Yeah.
special place in my heart. I was 12, I think.
Okay, so I just went. They're on the website just for funds, right? Instead of watching the slideshow,
You can actually list the slides out.
It says list slides, and then there's the top 20, and then I can deep dive in to see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, this
Brilliant.
is a
Brilliant.
nice way to do a list, right? I have brought a reputable list to the group to judge.
This is good. This is good. I've never heard of Dairy Girls, but this is good.
There's plenty of things on here I haven't watched. I've heard of everything. I haven't watched it all. But yeah, I mean, so I'll give you, before I just, yammer on, because I'm known to do that, I will give you all a minute or two to peruse said list. If you want to click on one of them and read the synopses, you can. And then go from there. While you do that, I will just keep clicking on this, hoping that the option pops up to fix my Mac issue.
I mean, I think, obviously, I have to say, I don't understand how The West Wing isn't on here.
Okay. I've never seen West Wing, so
No, I know.
Make
Like
your case.
immediately. Well, my case is of network television shows. It is one of the longest running drama series ever.
Sure.
And it's a show in which the first three characters you meet have kind of a storybook ending. The first three characters you meet being Sam, CJ, and Josh.
Yeah.
Right? And the series ends with Josh and Donna on a plane, but you also know that CJ, gets married and goes and builds a pipeline and wherever, and obviously Sam is with Josh, right? Sam has become the guy behind the guy.
I think the final scenes of that finale are great.
It's Jed Bartlett flying off into the sunset with his wife.
Tomorrow, right? Like that. It's a powerful send off,
right?
To a show that went through a really rough last season.
I don't think it was that rough, but okay.
But also emotionally too. Like rough in the sense of, that writing's difficult. Also, wow, you have to thread the needle with Leo, and then the let's have this surprise. Like the season opens with who's the president, thing. I can understand why it's not, but it is a damn good series finale. But I'm looking at some of the other ones. I'm like, I mean, I didn't see this show, but I can understand how maybe Cowboy Bebop knocked off the West Wing.
Oh, Cowboy Bebop is a great show with a great ending.
I'm a little
I don't even know what that is.
Cowboy Bebop.
I've heard of it. I have no frame of reference.
Have you seen? Has anybody seen the series finale of Psych?
No.
Okay, if Monk is going to be on this, Psych could have taken its place.
I think like basically everyone would say that Monk is better than Psych,
and those people would be wrong.
I don't know, man.
It's a very bold statement, and they fold Monk into Psych, so there you go. There's your Monk is still monking around.
Did they fold it in, or did Psych need the firepower? Did they need the help?
That's a good point.
I think Psych needed the help of Tony Shalhoub.
A very good point.
Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub
I wish Scrubs would have ended on season 8, and then I would have been arguing for it.
We can't argue for Scrubs because Scrubs had a shitty season 9.
But then Med School came along and ruined the whole fucking thing.
They did. If
they would have just made it a spin-off series and it only got one season, Scrubs would be on this list, and Scrubs Med School would suck. But because Scrubs Season 9 is a thing, even though I refuse to acknowledge it as Season 9, is more Season 1 of a new thing, fine. Mad Men has a great series finale. I like that it's on this list. I think it's in a respectable spot here at number 11.
It is. Yes, and it has a, I wouldn't call it great, but it has a good series finale. The problem is that last season was not great. Like you were saying about the West Wing. The last Mad Men season was not great. And does it end in a good way? It's fine. He's meditating. I guess that's good.
No, but he made the most famous Coca-Cola commercial ever. That was his magnum opus. He did it. He made one of the most long-lasting ads ever, and it's all about peace, love, and harmony, which Don Draper has been fighting to get his entire life. All
right, fair. It's fair.
Josh, I know this was a divisive at the time, but it seems pretty unanimous now, and I'm curious your thoughts on The Sopranos being on here.
I didn't have a problem with it at the time. I didn't have a problem with the way the series ended, or even the way that episode ended. The only issue was, I thought my TV service cut out, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't care then that it was fade to black, and I don't care now that it was fade to black.
I think cut to black. That shit was.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't
that's fair. That's fair. But if
it was a slow fade to black, you would have. Oh, okay, that's the end. But it was just
Breaking Bad,
boom.
slow fade to black, right?
It was a pretty amazing show, and the way it ended, I was fine. Does it belong at number 7? I don't know. Here's the thing. I think that, judging kind of where some of these shows are is tough. Twin Peaks, I don't know. I never saw it. The Good Place, I never saw it.
Good Place is a fantastic show.
Laura liked it.
I love that show.
Great series finale,
It's a great show and a great series finale.
Crying a lot.
Yeah. I love the fact that Parks and Rec is on here. I think Parks and Rec has an amazing series finale as well.
Parks and Rec is different in the sense of, if you really watch Parks and Rec, that thing had two series
finales, right?
And the first one was fucking great.
Yeah,
the first series
great.
finale, you're like, I don't know why you're coming back for another season, guys. You nailed the landing. You're not going to be able to do this again. And then you're just like, hold my beer. Like, fuck you. You nailed it again. All right, fine. Great job. Way to go. Seeing the Americans on this list makes me want to rewatch the American, because every time I try to watch the Americans, I get to like a season and a half and then I just stop.
You know why?
Why? I don't.
Do you know what? Do you know why?
No,
I know why.
Why do I stop?
Because
I can never get it going.
That show causes anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
Okay, is that why?
I
block it out every time. Every time.
I have binge watched that show twice, and yeah, you're right. Like, I get a season and a half, 2 seasons in, and I'm like, what is wrong with everything? Like, I hate everything.
Yeah.
Well, it's because that show weighs on you, and that should say something about, the show itself.
How good the show is.
Yeah, it's really, really spectacular, and not just because the two main characters, the whole show, and the writing and the story and the way it was done, the whole thing was great. And the way it ended, yeah, I like, everybody got a decent ending, and I'm fine with it. I'm glad they didn't die. Great. I don't. There's some stuff on here that I think it's just like we put it on there because we put it on. Like Friday Night Lights, why is that on here?
Sure.
I don't even think it's a thing.
That was one I was like, really? And then I remember I watched Friday Night Lights like 4 times. I liked it. But you're right.
The show?
Yeah, the show.
You watched the whole show? The whole series?
Multiple times.
Why?
Apparently I love trashy television every once in a while.
That's the problem.
And that one just hits the spot.
It's like
the movie's not. I'm also going to say something controversial. The movie's not that great.
I mean, I enjoy it.
The movie is fine.
It's okay.
The movie is fine.
It's not upper echelon. Here's what
but like, you're watching a sports movie and it ends like that, and you go, "Why did I just spend 2 hours on this?"
But quite frankly, like that's why I like that film, is because in a time where football movies was big business, like, that was off the heels of Remember the Titans, The Blind Side was a big thing.
Yes.
Like, okay, I know exactly what I'm getting. And then you didn't get that. And you had to kind of reconcile, oh crap, that they didn't win.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to feel about this? Fast forward to series finales of Ted Lasso, they didn't win overall. They won the big game, but they were still ranked number 2.
Yeah.
So like, again, like it's one of those things. I enjoy when shows or movies subvert your expectations in a satisfying way. And that's why I'm actually going to mention one that I do think should be on this list. And Josh, you probably have no idea, but CJ, I know you do. The last episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender is amazing.
Right.
And it's one of these things where you've watched 4 seasons, you think it's going to go down a certain way.
And it does.
But it gives you everything you wanted while also still subverting your expectation. Yeah. And I won't spoil too much of it because, I don't know, it's a great show. It's 63 episodes. Binge it. It's easy. It's an amazing show with a great message, and it's not a kid's show. Yeah. And it ends so perfectly. So it ends so well, that then
yeah, I would definitely kick a show. I would kick something off this list to put Avatar on there.
Yeah,
I don't know what,
but
perfect
series finale. It's perfect.
Go ahead.
I mean, I was also going to say I'll also make a case for another animated show that I've grown to love, which is the season 7 of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. And if you watch the show in general is a great show that whatever problems you have with the prequels, that show actually fixes. So I definitely recommend watching it. But the finale, when they came back for season 7, the whole season 7 takes place during episode 3. and those last 2 episodes is Order 66, and it is intense. It's awesome. It's a fantastic ending to the show.
On your advice, I'm in the middle of watching that series, which,
Oh,
by the way, also
like
seems
it?
to have. I of course went to Reddit and I was like, "This seems out of order," and they're like, "Oh, okay, so watch it this way instead, and you'll be happier." And I'm just like, "Okay." So like, I'm hopping around. I just got done like the movie. So like I'm very early on, but because like watch 2 episodes, then watch the movie, then watch this, then jump to season 5, then go back. And I'm like, okay, I'll whatever. I'll follow this path.
I didn't watch it like that, and I still highly enjoyed it.
You probably watched it as it came out in the world. You didn't have a say, right?
I was there was about 4 or 8 seasons done before I started watching it, and what I will say is like as long as you enter that show knowing that. Very much like the way Batman the Animated Series is done, right? Like 2-episode little vignettes.
Right.
Like there is an overarching story, but like as long as you know, hey, these 2 episodes take place in between, this event and this event in the movies. Like you can truly appreciate it. I love that show. And like I said, it makes the prequel trilogy better in my opinion. So I think that was a tall feat for the show, and I think the series finale is fantastic.
One show that's on this list that I don't know if you guys have seen, because I feel like a lot of people, while it was hyped up in critics and press and like winning awards, I don't know if the majority of everyday people saw Fleabag.
My wife watched it; she really enjoyed it. I did not.
I slept on it for a long time, and I really did enjoy. First off, Adam Scott, like he can. I watched him also in his Hamlet performance. Andrew Scott, sorry, Andrew Scott. Watched him in his Hamlet performance. I'm like, oh, that's how Shakespeare's supposed to be done. I understand this better now, right? Mm-hmm. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who's also going to be in the new Indiana Jones. Seen her in a lot of things, and I really liked the last episode a lot, in the sense of you kind of want something, and then you don't get it, but then you kind of learn like. It's okay. Like life, I get it, it'll pass is kind of like a message that you take away from it. They bring that up in the article here. And I remember kind of sleeping on the show for a long time and just being like, I get the critics are loving it. And I was like, oh, I get why. So I do like the finale also because I think it leaves everybody in the right spot. And it's not a long show. It's not like many seasons. I think it's 3 or 4. It's a quick hit. And I'm glad it's not top 5. I think you could put it a little bit lower. I think The Sopranos is way better than Fleabag. I think Park and Rex is better than Fleabag, but it belongs on the list, just not in the number 6 position. Now, who watched the British version of The Office? Did anybody?
No, nobody ever.
I watched. I will tell you, I watched the first 2 episodes.
I feel like they put the British version of The Office on just to be like, we didn't pick the American one. Okay, bye. Because the series finale of the American one is all right.
The series finale of the American one is all right. That's another show.
Is terrible.
Right. But that's another show, like Scrubs, should have ended in season 8. Whatever season Michael Scott leaves, that's where that show needed to end.
That show never started. Like never. Just leave Michael Scott out. You're out of the lexicon forever.
You are.
No, he's terrible. Terrible character.
We know why you don't. I have a feeling I know why you don't like him.
Oh, probably it's weaponized incompetence.
Exactly.
Is why I don't like him.
Yeah, exactly. I personally don't watch that show for Michael Scott, even though I think he is the crux of most of the comedy because he's incompetent. And the show is just everybody reacting to him. I watch that show for the supporting cast.
I hate it.
I know you do.
Yeah, if it was called Jim and Pam, I'd watch the show all day long.
Right.
I need to put 2 things on here, and then if you guys have any parting thoughts, fine. Justified, great series finale. And why is The Wire not on here?
Holy shit, you're right.
Why is The Wire?
Holy shit.
When Cheese gets killed, right?
Holy shit, why is The Wire not on this?
Like you could take, for me, almost any of these not named The Sopranos and put The Wire in its place, and I'd be okay with it.
Why is The Wire not on this list? How am I only catching it now?
Yeah. That's a pretty glaring miss.
I haven't seen The Wire, so I have no comment. But I will say, Josh, in preparing to talk about this, I did Google some other series finale lists, and The Wire was on all of those other series finales lists. And I was waiting.
Why is The Wire not on the list?
I was waiting for someone to say The Wire because I know I'm like, well, I've never seen it. Why isn't it here?
This, it's funny.
I just assumed.
I didn't go down the rabbit hole of looking at a bunch of other lists while we were talking because I really do think this is a pretty good list.
This is a really good, yeah.
I have no complaint about the collaborative effort and the order. I think that a lot of thought and probably a lot of things were thrown at people. I like what they did here. But then they don't have The Wire, and it took me this long to realize The Wire wasn't on there. I'm like, you know what you both missing. Did? I'm over here going, it's not Game of Thrones because that shit.
No.
But I'm sitting here going, something doesn't feel right, and then I went. While you guys were talking, I went, oh my God, The Wire's not on here. I didn't know how do you miss The Wire?
You know what you both did? You know how, when your brain, just reads sentences, you're really just reading the first and last letter. You're not reading the stuff in the middle. You both just did that with this list. You skimmed the list and you're like, oh, The Wire's on there. It's gotta be. And then
I know it's not in the top 10, but I get it. It's still there. You wouldn't make one, just like Josh said, you have to have Cheers on this list. You wouldn't make one of these without The Wire. You almost got a full star approval, AV Club. I think you got approval. I think you passed.
There is a giant asterisk.
You definitely passed, but the teachers just see me after. Listen, you're not getting an A, right? But you're definitely B+ in here. How the fuck why is The Wire not on the list? Right? You're definitely missing it there. Son of a bitch.
That was Brian, I'm giving you 5 points for the topic itself. I'm giving you an additional 2 points for your restraint.
Thank you.
And kind of letting that happen organically.
Yeah.
CJ, I'm taking away 2 points for not realizing it sooner. And I will give you those 2 points back for your loyalty to Psych. I appreciate that. And 4 points generally for your reaction to The Wire not being on the list. So that was really solid. I'm going to pivot into something short and sweet that I found whilst I don't know what I was doing. It was either Reddit or TikTok. Forgotify. Have you heard of this?
Mm-mm.
Forgotify?
Okay. Sounds like Spotify, right?
It does.
Forgotify.
It sounds like I forgot about it.
The word Forgotify. Forgotify is millions of songs that have either been only partially played or have never been played on Spotify.
Interesting.
Okay.
Millions of songs that have only been partially played, they've never
all the way through
been played the whole way through, and some have never been even started. Millions of songs.
Right.
And
I have questions.
You can listen to them, but
you won't listen to the whole thing, otherwise you'll ruin the whole algorithm.
That's right. But or not. Well, that's the beauty
millions
of it, right?
Of them.
There's millions of them. But here's the thing: if you do listen to the song the whole way through, you are guaranteed that you are the first person in history to have ever done that. Because once someone does, it's removed from this library.
Except for the person who made the song, I would assume, right?
Well, I mean, clearly.
Right.
But I'm saying it was never listened to the whole way through on Spotify. So in as well as Forgotify, there's a site called No Likes Yet. It's all the photos on Instagram with no likes.
Oh, my whole feed is on there. That's very good to know.
That's right. And there is a site called The Long Tail, which is the least popular tracks of all your favorite artists.
Oh.
So I thought that these sites needed a little bit of love. This is not Forgotify is not a new site. I think it's 2017 is the copyright. But it's new to me, and I knew the moment I heard George Harrison died, I knew I had to stop. I had to start living for today. You know what I'm saying?
Didn't he die in like the 70s?
Yeah, but I just found out about it.
I see what you got.
That's right. So I thought it was worth a note, and then also there's just one other thing that I want to show to you guys, and probably CJ, you're gonna maybe have to drop this into Brian. I saw this TikTok and immediately thought of you, and I was laughing, and I'll give you guys. I'm gonna share it with you because I love it. I love it. You
want to hear something funny? This showed up on my feed, and I thought of you.
How great is it?
It's fantastic.
So for the people that can't see the TikTok, it is a professional baseball contest between the Phillies of Philadelphia and the Pirates of Pittsburgh. The score is 0-0. So across the score line, it reads poop, and it's playing a sarcastic sports tune in the background. And I was thinking about if Brian were here watching this game, he would be completely transfixed on that it says poop in the top left corner of the screen. Yeah, that was my topic. It was just those two little bites, those two little nuggets of loveliness. And I wanted to share them both with the world. And listen, I did listen to some songs on Forgotify, and they were truly horrible. But I stayed.
But you persevered, so you can have your name in the history books.
That's right. So I did stay for that. CJ, please tell me, we are talking about the topic that you started in the group chat with my lady wife.
Yeah, so watching movies during a part. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Something different? Yes. So I was also perusing TikTok, and then Laura Burns stole my topic in our group chat. Very upset about this. TikToker by the name of Made by Maven, was posting, what is your favorite use of a needle drop in movies? A needle drop is, of course, when someone drops a song that then again either corresponds with what's happening on the screen or becomes perfectly matched to what is happening on the screen.
I think it's important to point out it is a popular song, not like popular in the words of it's not made for the movie.
It's not the score, and it's not made for the movie.
It's a pre-existing song, and sometimes characters can hear it. It could be like, hey, they're singing in their car, or sometimes it is just set for the mood. But it is.
This is a good definition. This is a better definition than the guy gave.
Right,
yes,
but it is a
better.
pre-existing popular music song that we're going to drop in the middle of the movie to evoke an emotion or to talk about what is going on in that particular scene.
Yes.
Sorry, proceed.
The best example of it, although it gets an asterisk and a caveat, apparently, is the opening scene from Baby Driver with Bell Bottoms, where not only is it basically a music video for that goddamn song, but like the action, everything syncs up and really kind of sets the tone for the entire movie. If you are still on the fence, having listened to any episodes of this show, on watching Baby Driver, watch the fucking opening scene, and then what the hell are you doing listening to this show?
They gave you the opening scene before the movie ever came out. What have you been doing?
We all watched it going, no one's going to watch this movie. It's called Baby Driver. What a dumb name. And then Edgar Wright's like, here's the opening scene. Like, I can't believe they're putting the first 5 minutes. Holy shit, oh my God.
So
this is fucking awesome.
So listen, because of the way that the content creator defined a needle drop, I had originally disqualified Baby Driver and other things like Bohemian Rhapsody and so on and so forth because he did not do a good job, Brian, of...
I didn't see this TikTok, so talk to me.
of explaining that. So he used needle drop like this, right? It's the point where a pre-existing song, right? And the song is dropped to drive the point of the movie forward, to evoke an emotion, to whatever, to cement whatever's going on. Not scenes that were written specifically to fit that tune, not maybe it's playing in a car, maybe they're singing Bohemian Rhapsody, not that kind of thing.
Mhm.
But that opens up a whole different thing. I did not use any of those type of songs for my list, and do I have a whopper?
By the way, Josh exploded. His brain, his stream of I swear it's one of those moments like from Old School where Will Ferrell's character blacked out after giving the most eloquent answer. Josh just gave us the list. It's just like, yep, this is every needle drop in the history of film that's ever been really good. Okay, I love you. Bye. Right? Just fucking owned the fucking topic and got out of there. But
it's my look. This is my wheelhouse.
Oh,
this
yeah.
is
Yeah.
music. Music is an incredibly powerful vehicle for thoughts, memories. Right? It's just for me. It's as powerful as smell.
Yeah.
It is up there.
So with that, I guess I should say my 3 first before you go through your list of 30.
Well, yeah, I've got a lot.
Well, how about you crank out a couple and then I'll add in between. How's that sound?
All right, so I've broken the list into 3 sections, and the first one is the one that you guys have already read because I put it in the group chat. Another is the ones that I thought of later that night that I had to put in the group chat, and then I separated, say, my top 12 all time because I couldn't narrow it to 5, and John Cusack would be very angry with me. So I'll start with Little Green Bag. It was the opening scene, the opening credits of Reservoir Dogs by the George Baker Selection. It's amazing. Miseraloo is the opening credits of Pulp Fiction. That's Dick Dale and the Deltones. Layla by Derek and the Dominoes was playing as Ray Liotta was driving in Goodfellas. The opening credits of The Departed, Shipping Up to Boston by Dropkick Murphys. But I put Gimme Shelter by the Rolling Stones, but every time it's used appropriately.
So it's just the song, no
just
movie
the song
attached.
itself.
Every time
any
it
medium.
shows up.
It's used in The Departed. It's been if there's a crime happening or cop activity happening, they use Gimme Shelter.
Right.
Why? I don't know, but it's always appropriate, and it's amazing. The opening credits of Dazed and Confused. Sweet Emotion by Aerosmith. So good. Killing Strangers by Marilyn Manson. Perfect in John Wick.
I was just about, that's one of mine.
Okay,
John Wick Killing Strangers is a great needle drop.
Perfect in John Wick. The entire Kill Bill soundtrack, but I mean, pick one. But for me, it's the Lonesome Shepherd when she's in the play. It's like this hybrid between this Asian flute and then these mariachi guitars, and it's just unbelievably good. It's poignant. It's excellent. Where's My Mind is when the credit buildings are exploding in Fight Club.
Yeah,
Yep.
That was one of mine too.
Yep, I'm losing a
Just
lot
another-
of things right now.
That's okay.
I don't think
Just
Josh is gonna
another-
mention my favorite, so I'm interested.
Oh, that'll be good. Just Another Victim, Helmet and House of Pain from the Judgment Night soundtrack. Pump It Up by Mudhoney from the PCU soundtrack. It's really just kind of solidifies the whole theme of that movie, which is spectacular. Deep Cover was Snoop Dogg's official debut. That's Dre and Snoop. The song, I think, was titled for the movie, was not written for the movie. Times Are A-Changin', Bob Dylan, Watchmen.
That's on my list too.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't think you were gonna say it. That's not my
guys
favorite, but that's
snarked it.
definitely a good one.
Perfect.
Yeah,
All right.
it's fantastic.
Sweet Jane by the Cowboy Junkies in Natural Born Killers. Kissing You by Desiree, Romeo and Juliet. So perfect. It's the scene for where Romeo and Juliet meet, right? Across
On
the
my list,
aquarium.
you son of a bitch.
Across the aquarium there.
I'm running out of shit here.
Shattered by the Rolling Stones, the movie SWATs. The scene 6 months after.
Can we just talk about what an underappreciated movie SWAT is? I love that movie.
I've never seen it.
It's so
very
fun.
Very many Colin Farrell movies are underappreciated.
Yeah, but I think that's one of the dude. Okay, listen. Forget about the Colin Farrell. You got Jeremy Renner, Sam Jackson. Michelle
Well, it was before
Rodriguez.
anybody knew who Jeremy Renner was.
Sure, but he is great in it. That is
He's amazing.
great fun action film. It's totally underappreciated. Watch SWAT. Continue.
Yes, everyone should watch SWAT immediately. Classical Gas. Classical Gas is a song originally by Mason Williams. It's a really like cool classical guitar type song, but it was remade by Eric Clapton in kind of a Spanish guitar form and used in The Story of Us. And every time this starts playing, I know I'm about to start crying, and it's awful. Like it's so good. Most of the Time by Bob Dylan and High Fidelity is gut-wrenching. Amazing. That is the first part of my list.
I'm going to stop.
Can we throw out some before you take them all?
I need to add a couple, and I need to tell you what my favorite needle drop, and every time I watch it, it just becomes more my favorite. And I got to say it before CJ probably steals it. What's Up Danger and Into the Spider-Verse is one of the most amazing needle drop moments, solidifies that entire story, solidify Miles' arc, and even to the point where like when the beat kicks in, and he jumps off, and there's that silence, and then he spins the web and it starts back up again. Oh my gosh, it's such a great. And I just watched it again because I saw Across the Spider-Verse this weekend. Such a great moment, and it just gets you amped. It just gets you amped up. The other one I definitely need to make sure I mention.
You take it.
I can't listen to Stuck in the Middle with You without thinking of Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
I can't. I always see Mike Madsen in that just sadistic little dance he's doing while he's...
Yep.
It's such an amazing scene. And it evokes that emotion of fear and this guy's a fucking psycho. Like,
somebody's going to get his ear cut off right now.
Somebody's going to get hurt. I am going to add a TV show needle drop. I'm going to break the rules a little bit. And I'm going to tell you,
because that's a whole different list.
Yeah.
But I cannot listen to the Book of Love without crying and thinking the season finale is Scrubs.
That's the Scrubs. Yes.
Yeah. That's an amazing scene. And again, one of the best season finales of all time. Not the best series finale because they fucked it up later. But that's an amazing moment, supplemented by an amazing song.
All right.
CJ, what do you have on your list before I add a couple
Before you go crazy.
Because I'm going to just take the rest of it.
One that was mentioned in the TikTok video, therefore, is kind of a give me, but I think we do need to mention it because you're not watching the TikTok video, you're listening to us, is, of course, Freebird from Kingsman and the Secret Service, right? When they're in the church, the church scene. Like, it's what he says in the video besides Baby Driver. It's also that one. Just, you should have that. It's a gimme. Beastie Boys Sabotage in Star Trek opening scene. Yeah. Fucking amazing.
It's on my list.
It's solid.
X-Men Days of Futures Past, Time in a Bottle, where they do the Flash. Not Flash, Quicksilver, sorry. I don't know if this counts, but I'm putting it in there. The Other Guys, My Hero.
Yeah, great.
Right? It's like
jumping off the roof. Jumping off the roof.
One that made me go afterwards, holy fuck, what a great way to use this song. What is this song? And then it became heavy on my rotation. It's just Captain America Civil War, Left Hand Free. They introduced Spider-Man.
I added that to my playlist
fucking great drop.
I mean, as long as we're talking about Marvel movies, I mean, you can argue the entirety of Guardians of the Galaxy, but I was
just about to say the hallway scene.
Yeah.
Well, No Sleep Till Brooklyn for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Well, I haven't seen it yet.
I was going to say Come and Get Your Love at the beginning of the first film.
Also,
is a great moment.
I'm not included because of the type of use, right? I didn't include it on any of mine. Oh Jesus, what did you just say?
No Sleep Till Brooklyn?
No, before that.
He said Left Hand Free by Civil War.
Left Hand Free for Captain America Civil War.
That's Alt J, and it's a super underrated.
It's so
alternative
good.
Band.
Yeah,
so good.
I really enjoyed it.
All right. I've got one that's questionable. Tell me if it makes the rules, which is What I've Done by Linkin Park from the Transformers movie.
Yeah, it's kind of the whole background of that movie, though.
It is
the Optimus Prime speech.
Movie.
Yeah,
but it was also made for that movie.
Yeah, it was.
Even that. Yes, that song became their album.
It's on their record.
It's the meme too of the Michael Bay directed by thing. It's the perfect end credit song.
It's the score. If you listen to it, it's the score of the movie.
I will add, in the same vein as Stuck in the Middle of You with Reservoir Dogs, Hip to Be Square in American Psycho is another one of those. We took this upbeat song and made it very dark.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
Hey, Tom! Like, such a great moment. Tiny Dancer in Almost Famous, where they're singing it on the bus, is also a fantastic scene. I can't think, nothing else is on the tip of my tongue.
Jeez. All right.
Oh, you know what? There is one other, and you're all going to laugh at me.
Oh,
I can't
ahead.
hear this song without thinking of this scene, and I think it's a fantastic scene in a dark comedy. Somebody to Love in The Cable Guy is used perfectly.
Jefferson Airplane. That's perfect.
Such a good fucking call.
That's
Why
perfect.
was that not on the list? Yep, no, good job. Yep. Wake
It
up
is
at
on
the
the
end of
list.
the
I
Matrix.
just added it to the list.
I know.
I don't know
Wake
what
up.
TikToker you're listening to.
That is the first one off my top 12, CJ,
Wake up at the end of the Matrix. Fuck.
because it's perfect.
It's-
It is perfect.
Yep. I don't think I have anything
Oh,
else.
of course you don't. Okay, well I'll go on
It's okay.
with my.
It's okay.
This
Josh
is
has
really
got you
just
covered.
Josh just wanted me to say that so Josh could. Josh, how many points are you awarding yourself for making this list correct?
I'm not. But I will say this.
Got to cover the
I
next 10 minutes, and Josh has got you. Don't worry.
I did not like I'm sure if I looked at some lists, I would come up with some more.
Right.
All of these are off the top of my head.
Right.
I'm just gonna. So I think if I need a reference, right? By the way, the Tune Find is a really good resource. When you like, what is that song from that show, from this episode, or that movie, from this part?
Oh, I just text you.
That's well, yes. All right, so this is not my top 12. CJ was the only person that got one out of my top 12. A Real Hero, College and Electric Youth, from the movie Drive. State of the Art, also known as AEIOU by Jim James from The Accountant. Simon Says by Pharoah Monch. That's Sam Rockwell dancing to dun 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 dun, and then it turns into
Is
a
that
hip
at the
hop
end
beat.
of Charlie's Angels?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
that scene. That's a great scene and a good use of that
Yep.
song. Yeah, absolutely.
Paper Planes by MIA on Pineapple Express is perfect for that movie.
Okay.
Cry Little Sister by Gerard McMahon. That's from The Lost Boys. You're the Best Around from Joe Esposito, The Karate Kid.
Right. Okay. Yep.
Hungry Eyes by Eric Carmen, Dirty Dancing. Holding Out for a Hero by Bonnie Tyler, Footloose. Don't Sweat the Technique by Eric B. and Rakim from Limitless.
From like anything, anytime that song is ever used.
Anytime it's used,
correct.
that's
Yes.
it's used
It's
correctly.
another
Yeah.
blanket one.
A Change Is Gonna Come by Sam Cooke, Malcolm X. Brian, I have no idea how this isn't on your list. You Could Be Mine by Guns N' Roses, Terminator 2.
Oh,
Is
gosh, I didn't think of it.
Perfect.
Two. Jeez.
Fire and Rain, James Taylor, Remember the Titan.
Oh, son of a bitch!
Yeah, you're screwed. I've Got Dreams to Remember by Otis Redding from Dream a Little Dream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, you could, anywhere they use I've Got Dreams to Remember by Otis Redding, it's appropriate. Shallow, Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. I don't care if it was made for the
I
film.
was gonna say that's an original.
I don't
original.
I'm breaking
care.
the goddamn rules. I'm the host. Okay, I'm sorry.
No. I think that it's, if you're making a film about a songwriter and there's an original song from that movie, but then that gains like critical acclaim and commercial success, it's not about the movie anymore. And I could see that song being used in other movies
Okay.
down the road.
Sure. In 10 years when everybody forgets it was in that movie.
That's what I'm saying. I like, but
Maybe
think
when
about how-
they
Wait, a different version
remake
or
A
the
Star Is
same
Born.
Bradley Cooper Lady Gaga version?
that version. I could see that version or another version, whatever. I could see a cover being used, but like, Hungry Eyes has been reused about 100 times, and that was on the Dirty Dancing soundtrack, right? And I think basically everything on that soundtrack was, except for like the Righteous Brothers and shit, was like made for that movie. Patrick Swayze had a song on that soundtrack. All right, so we are down to my top 12. CJ,
I will add
has-
one more.
please do.
That I unlike you, I'm not the music aficionado, so I am looking at a couple lists just to jog my memory. Don't Stop Me Now, as it's used in Shaun of the Dead, Another good point.
Yep.
Yeah,
Really
another
good.
like
Another Edgar Wright. Yep.
using it.
Anything
Not
Edgar
just to
Wright
tell a
does.
story,
Yeah.
but yeah, Edgar Wright is great at this.
Edgar
He's
Wright,
great
Guy
at the
Ritchie,
top
and Quentin Tarantino. Those three. Give me those three all the time.
I will also say, even though it is not necessarily played, but sung by the characters, Afternoon Delight in Anchorman is also... you come on, you don't think that song and think that scene. Like, you just don't. I mean, we've mentioned Bohemian Rhapsody and Wayne's World, right? We don't need to belabor that point. But yeah, I think that's all. I mean, I have to look at a couple more lists to get to jog the old noodle, but I'll let you go to your top 12, Josh.
Yeah, all right. You heard Wake Up by Rage Against the Machine from The Matrix. Give Me Some Lovin' by the Spencer Davis Group that was fronted by Steve Winwood when he was 16 years old from the movie Iron Eagle, and that's just because it's part of my childhood. Another, imagine, teenagery super crush me. Die Without You by PM Dawn from the movie Boomerang. That just does it. It does it every time. Eye Against Eye is Mos Def and Massive Attack. Blade 2, it's when they walk into the club.
Yeah.
It's a hip hop track.
Okay. Yeah,
Set to a ridiculous beat. And Mos Def is really amazing. Look up Eye Against Eye, CJ. You'll know it. You like it.
Okay, good.
Burn by The Cure in the Crow soundtrack, which by the way is underrated. Te Alament. It is by La Caution from Ocean's 12. It's the ridiculous evading the laser. Yeah, beating the lasers. Beating the lasers by dancing. Ordinary World by Duran Duran and Layer Cake. Cat People by David Bowie in Inglourious Bastards is insane. But putting out fire with gasoline, right? She sets the whole goddamn place on fire.
Yep.
Freedom by Pharrell Williams in Now You See Me 2 is incredibly well used. I Believe by Stevie Wonder at the end of High Fidelity is perfect. And my favorite of all time is Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds at the end of The Breakfast Club.
I kind of had a feeling that would
is perfect. That's it. That's about as definitive a list as you can get.
I'm not even going to ruin it by trying to add more to it. I think you're good.
Not. He's already painted the Mona Lisa. Let's just stop while we're ahead.
Hey, listen, if anybody has suggestions that you're not going to pull off a list on the internet somewhere that I missed, because look, I got some deep cuts on here that you've never heard of, and then you go back and watch The Accountant and you hear State of the Art by Jim James and you go, oh yeah, that's really, really good. Right? By the way, State of the Art also used in Elementary and in Suits. Really fucking good. Really good.
I haven't watched either show.
One day we'll have to do best music used for an opening of a movie or a TV show, and see what meets up with the premise of the actual show itself.
The problem is that Suits is going to be on that list so many times.
What is?
I mean, Suits. There are like you think about.
But I'm just saying an opening, like the Suits theme song, right? The Greenback Boogie is perfect for that show.
You're talking about the actual song, right. The
just
theme.
like Definitely Maybe's opening of Sly and the Family Stone's Everyday People. It's fucking great.
Like the OC saying California.
Right. California. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Wow.
No, I don't care for that show. But anyway.
That is I think the end of the show, and where I finished is CJ, I'm awarding you 5 points for having one of my favorite needle drops ever, unprompted. That's a pretty big deal.
There you go.
And for the topic itself, an additional 2 points, even though I couldn't I couldn't stop my brain from spinning out the other night.
Oh yeah.
So,
you made his brain think.
The exact reply after Josh sent out a huge list was 14 hours seems too long for this genius to go unrecognized.
Because neither of us responded, because we're both like,
I have nothing to add. I think you figured it out.
And like, if it's for the show, I don't want to ruin it. Like,
yeah, I'm just like, no, Laura, you took my topic. And Josh's like, hold on, shut up. I'm already here. I'm done.
Brian, you need to pay more attention to music and things.
You're absolutely right. I do.
And because of that, I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
All right. It's fair. It's fair, but it's a shame.
And by virtue of the math, and because CJ showed up and kicked Brian's dick in the dirt for this entire episode, he wins. All right, listeners, that is all we have. Thanks for hanging out with us for this show, which was, I think, a little wacky, but we had some fun. I hope you did too. Thanks for making us your walk around your neighborhood or your drive to work, and we will see you on the next show.
Well, welcome to the club, 'cause you are that kind of nerd.
I think that makes CJ our winner, and I don't have anything else to add. If you boys have something else, now is the time. Spectacular.
No, I don't, but I will be listening back to the tape because I think your math is off. But continue.
I don't think my math is off.
Sure, okay. I got 9 points the last round.
Award me 50 others. We're fine.
Nope. No, if my math is off, then it's off.
Well, then I got to go through the edit to figure it out.
Yeah, but it was
oh
like
God.
after the first
okay,
topic.
Is this what's
going
to do? Are we going to do? Are you?
I demand a recount.
I've been asked for a recount, and I don't have it.
Okay, well, here's what I need you to do then. I need you to record one where I win, don't mention the point number, and one where Brian's wins, don't mention the point number. But then make it hurt, make it sting. If it's a recount and I won fair and square by the first right points, I want it to sting that I lost. I want it to sting when Brian wins.
And by virtue of the math, Brian wins and is our host next week.
Yay!
That was close. That's just going to be your ringtone now. Anytime you call me or send me a text message. Since he just showed up at the end and kicked Brian's dick in the dirt, he wins. What did Josh want? He just wanted to know if we were recording today. All right.
Go ahead and wrap it up, Josh.